What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Realm Status, your monthly news for everything Camelot Unchained. I'm your host, Swiper, and today I will be giving you guys a brief overview of the May update. So if y'all are new to my channel, each month I go over some of my favorite dev items and some of my favorite questions asked by, well, you guys. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright everybody, so typically in the developer section or the first section of my video, I try and do at least 5 points, but this time I'm going to stick with 3 because a lot of their top 10 or 20 some that they've given to us this month are a lot of bug fixes and a lot of artwork. They also have some other things like Overmind and pathfinding in there, and these are the things that we kind of hear about on a daily basis or a monthly basis really. So I don't necessarily want to include those and go into detail because I don't think it's really necessary. But what I'd like to start with is the 24x3 battleground that we've been hearing about so much. Right now, it's fully playable. They are happy with almost everything besides the frame rate. So for anybody who hasn't tried this out yet, I've only tried it a few times and obviously we can't talk about it, but it sounds like they are on their way. And like I said before my last video, from day 1 to the last time I tested, there was just a huge transformation. So it was really awesome to see. So I haven't been in it recently, but I can't imagine, or I have to imagine that it's gonna look a lot better, especially with all the art that they're putting into this bad boy. So hopefully we'll get to all try this out and all get to see this live. I'm hoping they do some kind of live stream, and I really hope they let like some of us live stream this, but I highly doubt that. They're probably gonna want to put it on their machines and make sure the game looks as good as possible for everybody to see this. Alright, moving on to number 2, the UI HUD Art. So if you caught my last month's update, we talked about the UI in a sense of the ability bar and how you can add more bars and how you can delete bars. We also talked about spells and how you could add spells to the ability bar, but not only adding, you could actually move them into places you wanted them. Well, it looks like they're continuing to work on the HUD, which in my mind looks like the party menu, like when you look at your party members and when you get Overmind messages and like a compass and small things like that. From the update, it sounds like they were working on 3 different styles: minimal, paintery, and ornamental. Looks like they stuck with the ornamental side, and here you'll get a brief picture of what we saw in the update and how it may look in game. Alright, and last but not least for the dev items, the Devout class. So pretty straightforward update. The Devout class received a lot of fixes and a lot of balance updates, and MJ basically said that this is going to continue to happen. So this is a class that I am extremely invested in, because one of my favorite classes that you guys probably know because I'd say it almost every time was a Shaman in Warhammer. And I gotta be honest, I'm enjoying the Disciplined Priest in WoW. Anytime you can do damage and heal essentially at the same time, or it benefits your healing as you're doing damage, it is a fantastic role to play as a healer, in my opinion. And some of the classes in this game kind of resemble that, or they give you the choice of, you know, switching to damage and switching to healing in a sense. So I am extremely excited about this class, and I cannot wait to see this class until it is essentially done. And I know it's never going to be done. They're always going to be balancing and blah, 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 all that good stuff. But I really just want to play it at its true form. All right, moving on to the question section. Question number 1. Do you have a teaser for the next 2 Viking races? That would have been freaking awesome. But answer is no. But MJ does say the Giants are up next, so we'll be looking forward to that. Right now, they're trying to figure out how far they can go with the height of the giant. So he kind of goes into more detail about how you can't really just make a human and scale it up higher and call it a day. There's a lot more that goes into this. Now, I'm no programmer, but some of the things he did say make sense to me, like hitboxes and doors. And considering 2 things, the fact that we can build doors in these keeps and towers, we can make them as large, as wide, as long. That is gonna constitute hitboxes to really be on point. And also think about this: when you're firing a spell that doesn't track an enemy, meaning you have to like aim it to hit somebody, if that hitbox isn't right, you're going to be missing that spell or maybe hitting that person when you really shouldn't have. All right, moving on to question number 2. Why Ragnarok instead of Cube? So let me give some background on this. In the beginning, I believe Cube was supposed to be a standalone game, or eventually a standalone game. So therefore, we would have had Camelot Unchained and Cube. So I think the question was pertaining to specifically, why are you developing Ragnarok and putting it out there instead of developing Cube and, you know, putting it out there? So in my mind, I think Cube is still going to be a game, but obviously it's not going to be like released anytime soon or alongside of Ragnarok or anything like that. Or that's just what I got from the conversation. So anyway, let's get to the response. MJ said that they kind of weighed the options. They looked at Cube versus Ragnarok as a game, and they said what would be more successful as a game to play. And they decided on Ragnarok. And they also said that Ragnarok was basically a mod, and getting the mod up wasn't that hard. So I think overall this was a great question. I don't think this was asked before. And I think a lot of us, well, I know at least me, I've kind of forgot that Cube was going to be like a game. And I know in the installer, it's got its own separate thing and you can go in there and it's, you know, basically a separate game. All right, moving on to question number 3. When can the general public see the game? So first off, they said that hopefully by next month, they can start streaming and showing us this. They just want to make sure that the performance is where they want it to be at. And I believe that is 30 frames. They said that siege is working, building is working, classes are working. A lot of things on this map or on this battleground is working. It's just they want to get the frames at a better place. And they added a lot of art to this. So I think that's kind of what's holding them back and what they're fine tuning and trying to figure out at this point. All right, moving on to question number 4. And this was a simple question, but a question I really like, and I'm very interested to see what happens next week if we get this. Question being, when are we going to get the next 90-day plan? So I don't know about you guys, but the 90-day plan was something that was really comforting to hear, especially with all the stuff that was going on. And yeah, I was pretty upset about Ragnarok. I really was, but I got to a point that I've just accepted it and said, you know what? What's best for the company is best for the company, and they got to do what they got to do. And if this helps them excel, then this helps them excel, and it's good. And I've just accepted it. But having these 90-day plans helps the acceptance a bit more. It really does, because it's showing us that they are putting a plan out there and they are sticking to a plan. And for all the people that are saying, well, you're basically leaving Camelot Unchained and just working on Ragnarok, clearly that's not the case. And by them constantly giving us this 90-day plan and constantly checking off boxes and saying, this is what we've done, this is what we've done, this is what we haven't done, but this is what we're gonna do, it just makes things a lot easier, especially for me. All right, and for the final question, question number 5. How worried are you about implementing the veil? So basically, MJ says that the veil is a simple mechanism for doing things, and he kind of compares it to a lot of the other things that they've done. I think he compares it to building destruction and having have a shitload of blocks in it. He also made a side comment saying that getting stealthers right is going to be a bit harder, but you know, they can get this right. So it sounds like they're pretty confident with the whole veil concept. And I think some people were kind of thinking like, how are you going to do this? Is this even possible? Is this even going to be a thing? Because the veil is a pretty big deal. Let's face it. It's going to be a pretty big deal in this game. So it sounds like they've got things under control, or at least they have a good idea about it, which in itself is pretty comforting. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for me today. So I just want to apologize in advance. Typically in my development or my favorite dev items, I do 5 items, but this month I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot I really wanted to cover. Now, they had over 2 pages of like bugs that I think MJ said. There are also some things that they were working on, like Overmind and some other things that I said, but these are some things that they work on continuously and they continuously get better. So I didn't want to just keep repeating myself in a manner, because they only give so much information, and to me it's not all that interesting. I'd rather go over like gameplay mechanics like the Devout and things we can kind of physically see and that they can kind of show off when they start presenting this game. So anyway, other than that, let's just be on the lookout next month. And I just want to say I appreciate see you always coming out each month and giving us updates. Even though sometimes the updates aren't as enticing as we might want them to be, I still appreciate it. There are a lot of games out there that were in Kickstarter that are no longer in Kickstarter. Again, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the updates. And even though this game is a long ways off, I'm very happy that we're going to see this Battleground very soon. Hopefully everybody gets to play it, everybody gets to see it, and it should be a lot of fun. So anyway, guys, if you like this video, please hit the like. And if you want more updates regarding Camelot Unchained or anything else, please hit that subscribe button. Everybody, stay safe, have a good week, and have a good weekend. Later.